I think a lot of times people forget that we are humans using AI. One of our core values in our company is AI plus humans equals magic. The key thing is plus humans, right? If we don't have the humans in the equation, we don't know what good is. Number one, I was woefully underqualified to speak on that stage. Judy was my one input in my company. Judy gave me that first chance, that first stage, that first opportunity. That first opportunity led to some of the members of the Chamber of Commerce becoming my customers, which led to more customers, which led to more customers. So all of that was because of one input. I wouldn't have gotten the confidence to do what I'm doing today if it wasn't for that single input. One thing can change your life. One thing that you do, one decision, one small moment can change your life. And that's the power of one pause. One pause, one step away from my client, who frankly was like, fine, go. You need to go right now. That's the power of the pause. Why we're here today is because of the power of one. And AI allows us to do more with one than ever before. But I started my business 11 years ago with $100. And I had a choice back then. I was actually interviewing at Google to work for one of the greatest companies in the world. I was on my last round interview with them. And I looked at the person that was interviewing me and I said to myself, I cannot be that person when I grow up. I started my own business and instead took a pay cut for making $500 a month and started my own business 11 years ago. Ironically, the first event that I ever spoke at was the Chamber of Commerce event, which was the one that Judy referenced. And flash forward to today, we work with some of the largest companies in the world, McKesson, Johnson & Johnson, Logitech, tons of Fortune 500 brands. And we create videos for them. That's what we do every single day. And I'm not going to talk for too long. I know you guys want to get back to networking, but in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to do three things for you. My response to you. New lens on your business, something to think about. The second one is I'm going to give you an AI workflow, the same one that I use for J&J and McKesson. They pay us thousands of dollars to do this. I'm giving it away for you guys for free. And third, I'm going to give you some 2 free gifts on your way out. So that way you don't walk out here with nothing. I want to get back to that story that I was telling you guys about. So about 9 years ago, I got a call from one of my best friends. And to paint the picture for you guys of where I was at in life, I was barely getting started with my business. I was working day and night to make my dream a reality. And what happened back then is my friend gave me a call and I looked at my phone and I was like, I was at a client's office. I was working on a shoot. It was something that we had to nail, right? It was like one of those do or die moments in business. Has anyone ever had one of those moments where you felt like, hey, like if I don't get this done, I am not going to succeed, right? So I see my phone ringing and like I've had many moments like this through business, right? I've almost failed 3 times. I've done a bad business deal and lost $250,000, right? Like there's been many things that I've gone through over the last 11 years where I've almost failed multiple times and I picked myself back up and done it again. So my friend called me again, called me a second time. I was like, shit, okay. He never calls me twice, right? Like this has got to be a big deal. So I look at the client that I'm with and I say, excuse me just for one moment. I answer the phone and I hear my friend cry. My friend says, I am not going to make it past the next 3 hours if I don't talk to you. I am going to kill myself. So I got in my car, I pressed on the gas pedal as hard as I could. We met actually at my office, ironically, and we sat there until the middle of the night talking to each other. And we didn't solve everything. You can't solve a problem like that in a night. But I made him make me one promise, a single promise, was that he was ever in that position again, he was to call me. He was not to do anything stupid. He wasn't going to jump off that ledge. He was to call me. And I wanted to frame up this conversation about AI with the idea that one thing can change your life. One thing that you do, one decision, one small moment can change your life. And that's the power of one pause. One pause, one step away from my client, who frankly was like, fine, go. You need to go right now. That's the power of the pause. If you pause and you take that moment in your life, that's something that can change someone else's life. So nothing else I say to you today in this conversation will be more important than what I just told you right there. Always take that one moment to pause because you never know what the ripple effects are. And that friend actually today is gainfully employed. He has a girlfriend. He's happy. If I didn't take that moment to pause, he might not still be here. So I want to tell you the power of $100, right? So I had 2 paths. I told you about that. I was going to maybe work at Google or I was going to start my business. And the moment I decided to actually start my business was on this single $100 bill, which in today's economy can't really even buy you half a tank of gas. Back then, it really didn't even afford to do that much, but it was able to, in the state of Pennsylvania, you can incorporate your business for less than $100, which is what I chose to use $100 to do. So 11 years ago, I spent $100, started my business, And from that moment is when I went all in on it. I decided in that moment that no matter what, I wasn't going to quit. I spent that $100 and I went all in. And today, that single $100 that I've spent has led to a business that turns over multiple millions of dollars a year, employs 100 people, works with some of the largest brands in the world. And really, the reason I think I'm still here is for two main things. Number one, my business mission is to make the video process simple. So we're very, very vision driven, right? We're on a mission to do something. Second, I have a personal mission, which is to make my customers' dreams a reality, and most importantly, make my employees' dreams a reality. In our all hands meetings, actually, one of the things that we do that I find very special is we talk about the dreams of the people in my company. I've written down their dream. I tell them that is in my back pocket. I am not going to give up on the dreams that you told me you want to achieve. So we're going to achieve that together in our organization. That's the power of $100. That's what it can be over the course of 11 years combating. Let's get a little bit into the AI stuff, which is I know what you guys are here today to learn. So every business system has a series of inputs and outputs, right? Now, 11 years ago, my input was $100 and my output was a business that still exists today. We're going to repeat it. And I'm sure your businesses have a long series of inputs and outputs. You put something in the front of it, advertising dollars, sweat, equity, blood, tears, whatever it might be, and you get something at the back of it. And the goal of AI, all it is a system that can increase what you put in the front to what you put at the back. How many people here have tried some AI system, whether it's like the Google thing that pops up, ChatGPT or Claude, or if you're getting fancy, maybe using Nanos, okay, it's great. How many people find that when you put something into AI, you get more than one thing out from what you put in? Now, half the time you get out something that's not so great, which we'll get into in a little bit, because a bad input in front, as we know in any business system, gives you a bad output at the back. So we need to make sure that our inputs are strong. So just a quick question by show of hands, and I want to take a minute. You can either write it down or remember it takes 2 or 3 people to share. What is one input that you put in your business that you know gets you a lot of outputs? For me personally, the one that I know will always 100% of the time get me output is spending time with people. Because the more hands you shake, the more money you make. It's just how it works. So what's one system in your business that you have today that you put something in and you get something out? Anyone have any ideas?
Communication. Communication, yeah. When people you're communicating with aren't used to communicating with good communicators, that has really we've had to see that deal with different things.
I love that. I love that. So in the video creation process and what I do every day, I look at it as a system, right? If it wasn't a system, we wouldn't be able to accomplish it the same way every time. So how does that work, right? There's 5 components to every video creation steps, right? There's 5 steps to it. And I'm not going to get into all of them today. We only have 20 minutes. But today we're going to talk about the strategy, about why you should use this course system. Strategy, I'm going to say what AI could do and what it can't do, and this might change. By the way, it might change tomorrow. So this is what today on, I think it's June 17th, whatever day it is today, this is what we could do with AI. A week from now, that might change. It's a very rapidly evolving thing, but I can tell you one thing. Even though AI changes, you don't need to keep up with every little single thing that ever happens. I think that's where people get a little lost into is don't need to do everything. You just need to do something that will help your business, something that will increase your input and output system and speed it up. The number one goal of any business is to increase the throughput to their business. The number one goal of any system is to make it better, faster, stronger, right? So the goal in the video creation process is to use AI to make the system better, faster, and stronger. If we don't do that, we'll be able to accomplish our goal with AI. And if we lose AI and it makes a worse output than we had before, we shouldn't use AI in the first place. So that is one thing I would caution everyone when they use AI. We want to make sure the output's better. We want to make sure the output's faster. We want to make sure the output comes out at a lower rate of spend than you had before. Sometimes we test an AI system. We tested one about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it doubled the cost of output against humans. So you need to make sure you're measuring how you're using it. But I'll tell you a little bit about strategy or what it amplifies. So there's 3 things in my opinion that I think it can do really, really well. And in terms of what AI systems we use, listen, there's a ton of them and they all kind of work in their own ways. ChatGPT, Claude, Mantis are my 3 favorite AI systems. In the video space, Higgsfield is another great one if you want to check that one out. But there's 3 things that does really well. Research, audience, and hooks. Research, that's what you are going to make and why you're going to make it. Number 2, audience, who you're going to make it for, right? The key with any audience, by the way, is to take a stand on something, right? So maybe not be afraid to put yourself out there at the open. Not be afraid to get some haters in the comments. Because if you aren't standing for something, you're not standing for anything. So we want to make sure that when you're thinking about what audience you're making, you're thinking about what their internal psychology is. And where do you stay human, right? This is key. I think a lot of times people forget we are humans using AI. One of our core values in our company is AI plus humans equals magic. The key thing is plus humans, right? If we don't have the humans in the equation, we don't know what good is. So what are you focused on? We're focused on the bet. What are we betting on? What ideas did AI give you? And which ones do you want to put your chips on? Number two is what you believe. No one can take away your core beliefs. And if you don't know your core beliefs, you should sit with yourself for a little bit, figure those out. Because AI could spit out a bunch of stuff and it might be something that you don't believe, that you don't put out there. So you want to make sure you hold on to that, write it down. And by the way, you can train AI on your own beliefs, right? If you write them down, if they're written down, if they're codified, you can codify them into AI and make sure AI spits out the right strategy for you. Otherwise, it's going to spit out what it's doing for. The second one is capture. Okay, so what is capture? Okay, so you see here we have 2 cameras set up. This is capture, right? We're capturing content. A couple ways you can do it, and there's a new way with AI. So the 2 old ways to do it are with technology. Number one, you can use your phone. So anyone here, not if it was like somewhere over there, but anyone over here can take out their phone and make a video at any point in time, right? You can take out your phone, record some content, post it, right? And you can use that to create content. Second is you can record content virtually using a Zoom setup, using the laptop. You can use it using a videographer. And the third way is with AI. You can actually create content with AI. What do you think about seeing content that has been created with AI on their social media feed or somewhere? How are you all not knowing if some of that content is real or fake? Okay. Listen, like I am a very trained eye. Like I've seen, we make about 2,000 pieces of content a week. And like, there's some stuff I look at, I'm like, is that AI or is that not AI? My team sent me this piece of content the other day. I was like cocking my head to the side. I was like, is this real? Actually, if you go on my Instagram, which I'll get you guys in a little later, there's some content on there that was me with a cloned version of myself using a technology called heygen. Write this one down. So it's called heygen. So you can actually clone yourself using heygen and just make videos without actually getting on camera. The number one reason a lot of my clients don't actually go on camera is because they're afraid of that little lens, myself included. It's there's something scary about being in front of the camera, but it's really not that scary. And also, if you're too scared to make the AI version of yourself, do it. We actually right now are cloning this financial advisor who doesn't want to be on camera. I'm making almost a picture-perfect version of him that you would not be able to distinguish between the two if you didn't know me well. And we are creating that, and we're filming an entire video series without even recording a single moment of his time. And what's interesting about this is that would have been 10, 20, 30, 40 hours of time that we spent. One input, many outputs, right? That's the whole assist, right? You want to get one input, the many outputs. What do you want to make sure you are preserving, right? Number one is your energy. You don't want to come on camera and have your energy up. You don't want to come into a situation, has anyone ever watched a video where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like crazy. This is not right. You want to make sure you get your energy right. How do you do that? Right? The same way you get your energy up anyway. Some people it's a cup of coffee, some people it's exercise, some people it's meditation, but you want to retain what makes you feel it, right? Even if you're making something with AI, you want to make sure the energy of the video is right. And no one can take away your taste. Everyone here has their own individual experiences, their pains, their trials, their tribulations. So when you look at something and I look at something, we're going to look at it different. That difference is your taste. AI can't take away your taste. So when you're looking at something, you're looking at the difference between something that is good and something that's okay. You want to make sure that your taste is aligned with what the AI is producing. And by the way, you could codify this. There's a document that I produce that aligns my taste with what we put out with AI. So that way my team knows what I think is good and what I think is not good. So you could codify this. You could take what's in your head and codify this into AI. So the fourth thing here is direction, right? So once you film something, either with AI or without AI, you need to take what you've created and you need to turn it into something, right? And how do you do that? You give the technology the direction that you need to go, right? And how do you do that? We can use AI to figure out the pacing, your coverage, and the feedback, right? Like what clips were right, what clips weren't right. What do you want to do with that clip, right? So you might tell the AI, hey, I want this clip to have such an enticing front end that no one's ever going to scroll away from. And it might give you a few suggestions on what you do. The way you stay human, again, is your taste. That's the most important thing, defining your taste. And if you haven't defined it yet, a couple great ways to do it. One of my favorite ways is sit there and listen to a bunch of music and figure out what you like and don't like. That's one direction of taste, creative taste. Another way is to figure out what movies you like, right? Like, why do you like a Martin Scorsese movie, versus a movie that stars Jennifer Lawrence? Like, which one is better for you, right? Like, do you like rom-coms, chick flicks, action movies? What do you like? That is defining your own taste, something AI can't do for you. Next thing is to edit. So this is where the bread and butter of what we do comes in every day. And we've been trying every single day. We focus on how do we get the amount of time, the amount of input that we spend on a single video down so we can create the same output for the same amount of input, which is a huge advantage for our customers. So what does AI do for you? There's actually a bunch of softwares that you can use to actually help you edit, right? All virtually for free. I mean, there's a small subscription fee associated with them, but it's effectively free. One of my favorites is Opus Clips, if you want to write that one down. Opus Clips is a great one to check out. What it'll do is if you have a long form video, let's say you did a webinar or you did something like this and you recorded it, you did your capture, you could plug all that into Opus Clips. It's going to be 5-6 clips. Are they the best in the world? No, but for virtually free, you can get a bunch of videos, right? So if you all go home today, record a 10-minute video of you ranting about something about your business, go plug it into Opus Clips. You're going to get 5-10 videos out of that. Post them. Tonight, you'll be ill, right? It'll take you 20 minutes. What does AI multiply here? Captions, color, B-roll, all that stuff that takes the editor a long time can now be done in part by AI. Now, is it great? It's not 100% there yet, right? There's a difference between a professionally done video and a video done with AI. However, if you're not creating video today, expense is a barrier to do it. You can literally do this with like 20, 30 bucks in subscription fees and your phone tomorrow. Where when I was talking to you guys 11 years ago, when I spoke to the Chamber of Commerce 11 years ago, that wasn't really possible. It would have taken a lot more just to do a single video. In fact, like the cost of doing this for a single video has gone down from thousands to tens of dollars, right? So it's amazing what this technology is able to do. So where do you stay human? To me, this is the story arc. What's the beginning? What's the middle? What's the end? Where are you creating suspense? Right? A couple of my favorite frameworks for creating videos are point, story, lesson. What's your point? That's the hook. What's your story? That's the middle. And what's the lesson? That's the takeaway, right? That's one. Another one of my favorites that I always use is hook hacking. So has anyone ever seen a video where you kind of like see a biker going into a car and the last second it like zooms off or there's someone falling down a staircase or there's like a water bottle about to fall off a table or something like that. What that does is it creates suspense. What you always want to be doing is something I like to call stretching the gap in a video. You create some curiosity in the beginning of the presentation. You create an itch that won't be scratched till the end of the video. And then you scratch that itch at the end of the video, or maybe you don't, and you do a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and keep people on the hook. Let's say you get people to watch your content longer. And that's what AI can't take away. It's that arc, that story arc, that storytelling ability. They do want to be biased, right? The platform will tell you whether your video is good or not, right? If you look at the data, if you ever do a video, you click into the data, you want to look for what's called your attention graph. This is how long are people watching your video. You find out that people are only watching for 1 second. What that means is that people aren't hooked to your video. They're not hooked. They're not interested in what you're saying. If people are watching halfway, that means you did something halfway that they're not interested in your video anymore. So what you want to do is you want to start revising, right? You want to make sure that you can make the video that you just created last long. What the platforms reward is they reward you staying on longer. So you can keep people on the platform longer, humans interested in what you're doing longer, the platform will reward you with something called views. And those views lead to attention, which leads to more business. We actually built a tool that tracks revisions on a video, tracks what videos are doing well, and we use that to pair it with what revisions we should provide in a video. We should create this tool that looks at your video and scans it and tells you what is good and what is not good. So I want to talk a little bit about what we talked about in the beginning, which is the power of one. So Judy was talking a little bit about the presentation that we gave. What was really special to me about that day is number one, I was woefully underqualified to speak on that stage. Number two, I was so nervous I like threw up. There's something I practiced that talk probably 50 times before I got up there. And like, admittedly, it was a room that I wasn't prepared to sit in and lead, but I did it anyway. And the only reason why I did that was because Judy took a chance on me. Judy was my input in my company. And Judy gave me that first chance, that first stage, that first opportunity. That first opportunity led to some of the members of the Chamber of Commerce becoming my customers, which led to more customers, which led to more customers, which led to us speaking on stages that, with hundreds of people. Next month, I'm speaking on stage with one of the largest social media influencers in the world in front of thousands of people. So all of that was because of one input. I wouldn't have gotten the confidence to do what I'm doing today if it wasn't for that single input. And I think when I think about what Judy did for me back then and what she's done for a lot of us in this room, how many people have been impacted by Judy in this room? The whole room, right? When I think about it, like, Judy has been the one input for many of us here. Some of us have started our businesses. I'm not the only one with this story, right? I'm not the only one that Judy has influenced in the way that she influenced me. I think about how poetic it is. Like, I was Judy's first member. She was the first one to take a chance on me, and I'm also her last speaker at a lecture. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just want to take a minute. Let's just give a round of applause for Judy. How many people in this room have heard of the Women to Women event that Judy puts on? So I remember Judy was telling me about this first time. Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this event, and what we're gonna do for this event is raise money for a scholarship. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this money from this golf outing, and all these businesses are gonna contribute, and we're gonna bless a bunch of people that are in need, that need education. We're gonna bless them with a scholarship, and we're gonna do this. And that's really been Judy's impact. She's been that one input for those many students that have gone on to do amazing things in this world because of a choice that Judy made to start that scholarship program. And the scholarship program still lives on today. And I want to make sure it lives on. So in Judy's honor, I'm gonna pledge to donate $1,000 for the next 3 years to be a sponsor for Judy's program in her honor. And I think that'll be great because that'll end up more ripple high circle. But thank you, Judy. Thanks, Judy, for being my one input in life and creating what we've created today.